Dumb, cool,
weird
podcast. All right, welcome to the Dumb, Cool, Weird podcast. And today, welcome to the new year. We are doing
Batman,
the 1989 one with our good friend Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton. And don't forget Billy D. Williams.
Oh, yeah. Billy D. Williams is Harvey Dent.
Yep, which we never saw that realized.
You know, that would have been great, though, to see a Two-Face version of Billy D. Williams.
Did you notice he didn't even show up in Batman Returns?
Yeah, well, that's what happens when Tim Burton stopped making the movies.
Yeah, well, no, actually, Tim Burton made Batman Returns.
No, okay.
Yeah, so
I was thinking about Batman Forever.
Well, we want to forget that one forever.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is one of those movies where it's, typical Batman and Joker shit. The Batman shows up, beats up the bad guys at the beginning on top of the rooftop, and then he
beats up the junkies of Gotham City.
Yep, those guys were definitely.
I heard it was a bat. Can I count my money?
So you want this money or not? And basically they end up fighting the Batman and they shoot him a couple times and he falls down and then they're like,
gets back up and he spooks them out. He's like,
whips their ass.
And like kicks the one guy through a door, probably breaking all of his ribs.
Yep, fucks him up bad. But basically what ends up happening though is he ends up hanging one of them up. And then, he says, hey, tell your friends. And then he leaves them there and he's like sitting there like laughing like hysterically. And then, Gordon and them show up and then we get right into the movie. And, we get to meet the guy who's going to become the Joker, Jack Napier.
Yep. Good old Napier.
Yep. And he's, hanging out with the boss's wife and the boss's wife is touching him. And he's like... She's like, yeah, Jack, you're better than all of them. You're so hot. And he like looks at her like he's offended that she's touching him. And he goes, I know.
I love how she's like, what she says is like, you look good. I know.
And then he like looks at her like why the fuck are you touching me?
Yeah, right. You know what's funny is that he was fucking her in I think her apartment.
Yeah.
Not only are you fucking the boss's girl, but you're fucking her in the apartment that they live in together.
Yeah, it's pretty ballsy, if you ask me.
Yeah. You know what? He was a little bit different. He wore a purple suit while everyone wore all black. Just a good time.
Pretty much.
God, and then... that was Percy.
No, that's the other fridge.
Oh. But yeah, when it came to that party, right, where we actually see the Commissioner Gordon, he was the most incompetent Commissioner Gordon ever.
Yeah, because we, right after that, basically the boss really suspects, and then he's like, Jack, I got a really big job for you. You need to go down to Access Chemicals. And he's like,
get all of our assets.
Yeah, and he's like, wait, you want me to do it?
I think we should go get another guy to do this. This seems a little bit dangerous because, he just got caught fucking his wife.
Yep, pretty much.
And then he's like, no, Jack, you're my number one guy. Rubs his shoulders. And he's like, then everybody leaves, and it's like, get me Lieutenant Eckhart. And he looks like the shitbag cop of all shitbag cops. Fat, looks like he's drunk off his ass all the time.
Yep, Eckhart takes some money from Jack earlier in the movie too.
Yeah. Here, Eckhart, I got you a snack. It's a sandwich full of money. Man, Eckhart was easy to bribe. He only had like $1,000.
Yeah.
Did you notice that he's just rolling through like 10 hundreds, and he's like, yeah, this is good for my protection.
Well, you got to remember it was the 90s, so $1,000 was probably a lot of money back then.
Probably, but you're working with the mob in a very dangerous, corrupt, and run-down shithole city. I think you'd probably ask for like $2,000, $3,000.
Probably so.
Yeah.
And so we basically go to the party, and then that's when, Commissioner Gordon finds out, and that's when we find out Bruce Wayne is, being played by Michael Keaton a little bit more.
Yeah. And he's got that creepy war room.
Yep. And, Vicki Vale and her little lackey, they're making fun of him.
Yeah. I love how he's got the two-way mirror just listening to them.
Yeah. You know what I call that guy? not Steve Guttenberg.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because he sounds just like him, but he looks sort of
Nothing like him.
only like sort of like him. That's about it.
But you noticed in this movie though is like after the scene where they go into Access Chemicals and they're like, oh, we've been had, we've been set up, and they get into that whole shootout. That's like for a long periods of the movie, we don't see Batman very often.
No, we don't.
And then we get to those really unhinged scenes where we get to see the Joker, who somehow survived being flushed down the toilet of the Access Chemicals plant.
Yep, and he goes to a back alley surgeon, gets fucking like worked on, and he has a fucking mental breakdown, and then he officially becomes the Joker, and then basically like, Batman's trying to, woo Vicki Vale, and then we cut back to the Joker going to see, his boss, and the boss is like, Jack, you're alive. We're so worried about you. And then the Joker's like, a woman.
You killed me over a woman.
And then he goes, don't bother grabbing that, because he's about to grab a gun and shoot him. And he's like, Jack, let's cut a deal.
I'm Joker now, and I'm a lot happier.
And then he just starts shooting the shit out of him.
And he starts dancing around. It's great.
Yeah.
And then he looks at the paper. He looks so disappointed because he sees Batman's picture. He's like, ugh. Like as if like he just lost the role to being the top guy, the top like creep of the city.
Yep. And that's when he's like, freak bat walking around. Wait till they get a load of me.
God. The fact though is like that that mob meeting the next day with all the families. Why isn't Grissom telling us this? Well, he's out right now. Why you got that stupid smile on your face?
What's up with that stupid grit? That's what they say.
Oh,
life's been a lot
better. Life's been a lot better for me recently. Like no one could ever figure it out. Like, this is kind of fucked up looking, this guy with this really exaggerated grin on his face.
Yeah. And then he's like, then he like looks around and then the one guy goes, what if we don't want to go along with this? And he goes, well, Frank,
let's just shake on it. lights him on fire, basically.
So, we got a live one here.
Then all the Joker goons pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah, and then they're like he's a little hot under the collar.
I love when they all leave the room. He's talking to the corpse.
No, I love how the guy looks at him and goes, "You're crazy." And he goes, "Haven't you heard the healing power of laughter?"
Yeah, that was great. I love when he's talking to the corpse. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna give your guys, a couple of days to really think it over." Oh,
ice
what?
Him. Ice him now?
Ice him now? Oh, you're brutal.
Oh, you always were a brutal bastard.
I'm glad you're dead. Slaps the corpse right on the back.
I'm glad you're dead.
I'm glad you're dead.
Did you notice that mob guy had really bad teeth?
Yeah, I wonder if it was bad. They were bad before he got toasted.
That's what I'm saying. Like, after he got toasted, you got to see all the shitty fillings and stuff that guy had.
You wonder, right? With all your mob money, you can first off probably hire a much better plastic surgeon. But second off, you could definitely afford good dental work.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how we caught him. How?
It's kind of funny. We've completely been skipping over like all the scenes with Vicki Vale and like the scenes with Bruce Wayne and Batman. It's really the reason why we keep skipping over so much of it is because the scenes with the Joker are like the best part of the movie.
Yeah, because like really Batman in this movie was so unsure of himself the whole time.
Yep.
Like and I love how the mob guys are coming out of the building and all the reporters are just messing with them, asking questions, and the mob guys are mob guying, like they're like, oh,
Yeah, and then that mime just starts like roboting into the scene, like,
and then there's more mimes.
Yep, and then we get to see Bruce Wayne again, of course, and then Bob,
yeah,
the Joker's henchman's like taking photos, and then he runs up, maybe instead, I had a thought, like instead of maybe like talking about like the whole movie, maybe we should just talk about like parts of the movies that we love.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the part that I did love though, because like they literally knew what he looked like to a certain degree without his face paint on, right?
Yep.
And they're just watching all of these mimes pop out after, all these other random goons just started popping up dressed up in like sync uniforms.
Yep.
Not thinking to themselves, maybe the unhinged clown man we just encountered a few hours ago might be trying to kill us now.
He might have something to do with this whole thing that's going on right now. And then I love how they're like, he's like, and then he's like sitting there doing something. And he just turns around and goes, "I was there. I saw it. He died. And then as he was dying, he wrote it in his own blood. I did it."
Yep. And then he threw the pen right into his neck. And
no, because he pulled out the pen, and like bad guys always have like
feather pens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was feather pens all the time. Dangerous feather pens. I love how he threw the pen into his jugular. And he's like, the pen is mightier than the sword.
And then when he gets in the car, Bruce Wayne walks up and looks at him, and then he looks at Bruce Wayne and goes,
"Yeah," he just waves at him. And then I think my next favorite scene, because the Joker scenes are all unhinged and funny, is like when they go to that museum.
Oh, you're talking about when he's going to meet Vicki Vale.
Yeah, they go to the art museum, and they just start vandalizing all the art after killing everybody.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they basically gas the entire place. Because, by the way, the Joker comes in over the speaker, and he's like, basically, he invades the television because like people are basically dying by laughing to death, and he's like, and the Joker's like, "Joker here."
Yeah, and he's got what was it? He's like, "Oh no, not a smile on him. He's using brand X." Yeah. But with the Joker formula.
And they cut to the other guy, and he's like sitting there. He's like, "I get a grin again and again."
I love how at no point did the police ever think, we only have one chemical company in this fucking city. It could be where he's at. The lights are on again.
Yep,
it's working.
Yeah, because I love how he's like sitting there, and I love he's like, "So where can you pick up these wonderful products?" Well, that's the joke, my friends.
You already have them. And you get to see later on in the film as like nobody on TV's wearing makeup. Everyone's got like nobody's been like brushing their teeth because they're not sure what's tainted with the Joker products.
Yep, and then Batman ends up solving what it was, and then the chemicals get recalled, and then Joker gets mad, and he like, remember, he has like the little boxing glove, and he like
he shoots the TV.
He's like, Batman. It's the bane of my existence.
This town needs an enema.
Yep. So then basically the Joker gets the hots for Vicki Vale, shows up to Vicki Vale's house. Basically sends...
after having the hots for her at the museum, where that he just completely vandalized and then runs into Batman.
Oh, well, I love the scene where they're like going, like they're destroying all these paintings, and they go up, and Bob's about to cut this painting, and then like Joker stops him and goes, "Hey, Bob,
I like this one.
I kind of like this one."
But they destroyed everything else. I love how he's like, so what do you want? I want my face on the $1 bill.
And then he looks at her work, and then he's like, crap.
Watches war crime, sees a picture of a war crime. He's like, now this is art.
Yeah.
Because that's from that fictional island that's like Cuba. Was it Puerto Maltese?
Yeah.
Or some shit. And
yep.
Yeah, and it has like that. The guy in that photo has the same grin, like he was hit by that laughing gas.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
But basically what ends up happening, though, is they get saved, and, and then we cut to, later on in the movie when the Joker gets the idea, oh, I'm going to dump money on top of Gotham.
Yeah. I love how he had that whole parade, and everybody, who's in fear of the Joker is cheering for him in the city. By the way, he's giving these people Monopoly money because if you look very closely at the money, it actually has the Joker's face on it.
He's like, hubba, 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 money, money, money.
Who are you going to love? Me or the Bat?
Who are you going to trust? You, me or the Bat? And then he's like, where's the Bat now? He's at home washing his tights.
Right after Batman's killed all of Joker's henchmen. By the way, that's another thing. Batman shoots his way through Access Chemicals before going to this parade to save everybody, and then blows it up.
Destroys it.
All those henchmen dead
as fuck. And then Joker's is in the helicopter, and he goes, "Ah, you didn't catch me quick enough, bats." and like flies off.
Yeah, that church scene where that one guy, when that one guy was trying to sneak up behind Batman, and he jumps through the floor and falls to his death.
Yep.
At the end,
because there was a scene where they were like where Joker squirts like acid at the bell, and the bell falls down and like just destroys everything. And as Batman's trying to come up this fucking thing.
Oh yeah, with all Batman's technology, he didn't think maybe I should use my grappling hook to get up there.
Yeah, and then the fight scene up top is really funny because he's like, you wouldn't hit a guy with glasses, would you? And then he hits him and knocks out a fucking. No, the best part is right before they fight though, is when the Joker like sees Vicki Vale about to go down on him, and he makes that fucking goofy ass face.
Yeah,
like that. Then he looks at Batman, and Batman goes, "You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?"
And he just punches him right in the face.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was great. That was great. But what's funny is how somebody earlier in the film tried punching Batman and it hurt his hand, right? But that giant black guy was just beating the shit out of Batman.
And he fucking tore that guy up eventually.
Yeah, he threw him down the shaft again.
Yep. Got fucked up.
I love at the end though, after the Joker goons who were trying to escort Joker out, before he died. I love how the Joker had the last laugh where he had that laughing box in his pocket after he died. I love how Commissioner Gordon's like, we've rounded up all the remaining goons, and it's like really just two guys who lived. That was it. It's like okay, you arrested like two people, and they're like, crime in Gotham is now under control. You ever think that's how the Chicago mayor feels?
Probably so.
It's like, we arrested the one shooter. Now we are saved.
Yep, that's it. I mean, and to be honest with you, that's pretty much the movie. And the reason why, like I said, like I think when we start doing these movies, we'll talk about the parts of the movie that we really like, just to sort of entice you guys. But honestly, the whole thing is this movie was the best because of the Joker. Everything else is it's nice exposition, but it's kind of boring.
It was kind of
by comparison.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, the Christopher Nolan Batman did a great job of keeping you in the whole time.
Yeah,
but I mean, the Tim Burton Batmans were good because they were dark, like DC wanted you to view them. And the thing about it though is like we were talking about, it's like a real noir film.
Yes. If you I was telling Nick this, if you actually turned this movie into black and white, like if you desaturated it where it's black and white, it would watch just like a classic film noir from the 30s or 40s.
Yeah. And that would be great. And I would actually love to see that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way they shot it. I mean, that's how they shot the original Batman movies from that time period, which, by the way, there's about 3 or 4 Batman movies we need to watch that were from, like, the 50s.
Oh, nice.
Like, before, like, pre Adam West. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. So we got to watch those.
Looks like it's the next thing on the list.
Yeah. So the dumb, cool, and weird. What's dumb about this movie?
Okay, what's dumb? Man. Okay, let's be honest. The dumbest thing is the fact that the police took forever just to figure out where the Joker was.
Yes, that is pretty fucking retarded. I'm not gonna lie.
At no point did anyone say, Access Chemicals, a company we shut down, the only chemical company within our city, by the way, is operating again.
Yep.
So that was dumb that they couldn't figure out where he was at that point.
Yep. Yep, I would say the cool parts of this movie were the miniatures they did in this movie. Because in the movie, like there was a scene where the bat plane crashed, and you could tell it's a miniature set, and the miniature set had so much detail in it.
Oh yeah,
it looked fucking amazing, and the scene design for this entire movie was great. It like really pulled you into that gothic.
Yes, it did.
That gothic feel. I really like that. And then the weirdest part of this movie is I would say the weirdest part of this movie is also kind of going back to the Joker again.
Yeah.
Is why the fuck did he go to a back alley plastic surgeon?
That's what I'm saying.
That's so weird.
He was surprised that Adolf Himmler, his surgeon, was gonna do bad on him. You had one light bulb lighting up the whole place.
Yep.
He had like 3 tools to work on your face with.
I'm sorry, Jack Napier, but
this is all I have to work with. like at no point did you think maybe I should have gone to like a better doctor?
Yeah, it was just fucking weird. But that's what you get for being a cheap bastard, because
Yeah.
that's what you get. But that was Batman, 1989, with Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton. I mean, obviously we didn't go into every detail, but we went into the details that we remember that were the funniest about this movie.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. So I mean, hopefully you guys will watch it. Check it out. It's a classic.
Absolutely. And stay sexy, Atlanta. We live in Atlanta now.
Yeah, we're back, bitch.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking out the Dumb Cool Weird podcast. We're a movie podcast now, so Movie Monday is every Monday about crappy movies from the 20th century. It's going to be great, folks. I can't wait to show y'all.